Hello, friends. Welcome to another episode of the Handyman Success Podcast. My name is Jason Call, owner of Handyman Marketing Pros. We do websites and SEO for handyman businesses. I'm here with my co-host, Alan Lee, owner of the Handyman Journey, which is a business coaching group for professional handyman and home improvement services, as well as Honest Lee Handyman in Sacramento, a real awesome handyman business that serves the Sacramento region. The mission of Handyman Success Podcast, if you've been with us for a while, you know, but we are here to teach and inspire you. And we do that by bringing on amazing guests that are successful in their own way in the handyman trade. And through their stories, through, what they've been through, how they operate their business, you can pull real applicable things that you can apply in your business to improve, and also just draw inspiration that you can get to where you want to go 100%. It just takes a little elbow grease and learning from those who have gone before us. So all that being said, super excited today to have our first handy woman business on the show. We're here with Lisa and Layne with Ladies Under Pressure. Thank you guys so much for being with us today. If you could give us a brief introduction of yourself and where you are and a little bit about your business.
Okay. We're thank you for having us. We've been so excited to come on here, and I've listened to all the podcasts that have come before and gained something out of each one of them. Thank you for the previous people who have said stuff. It's amazing. It's amazing. Anybody listening, hang on to this. This is good stuff. Because when we started almost 16 years ago, there wasn't this kind of support, and having this out there is invaluable. Take it, listen to it, learn it, have fun. We are Ladies Under Pressure. This is Lisa. I'm Layne. Yep. And like I said, we've been at this for almost 16 years. We have a pressure washing company. We have all the pressure washing equipment to do everything, but we also do all kinds of handiwork, remodeling, you name it. We don't really have any employees, but we do have people that are working with us. We've got actually Lisa's son, whom we're making into we're actually deciding to grow just now. We've only stayed small because of choice, because of family obligations and some things that we've had to go through in our lives. So we've stayed relatively small. We've brought in people before, but we'll get into more about that a little bit later. I've got actually my sister doing a lot of my administration stuff for me right now, and it's been really good, just sort of keeping it low key in the family.
Awesome. Where are you guys located? And if you could kind of give us your kind of how you guys got started in this business, kind of like the story.
Okay. We're located in Lexington, Kentucky, beautiful state of Kentucky. We love it here. It is the central part of Kentucky. And how did we get started? Well, we decided that we were tired of making no money. And we were tired of watching all these men go out there and do the kind of work that we like to do and know how to do and make all the money. So we just did it.
We were actually neighbors, and I came here to go to college, and I started working for a rental company, and so it was doing all the home repairs, getting homes ready for Section 8 housing and things like that. So then I started picking up a little side jobs here and there on the weekend. I'm like, Jesus Christ, they're paying me nothing. So do all the money we had together, and
which was not much.
bought some insurance, and went out there and just gave it a go. Got really stiffed on our first job. We built 9 decks for a lady, and she didn't pay us 1 penny.
Oh, 9?
9.
Wow. But
yeah.
she didn't pay any of the contractors. It was, she actually built like two apartment complexes, and just driving by, coming home every day, we drive by buildings that she built. So I'm always hoping to see her there, just to wave at her and say, thanks, you taught me a lot. So,
so it almost ended before it began because of that, because we're like, oh my gosh,
this
what do
is
we
terrible.
do?
Yeah,
we had time, we had money, we had resources into these decks, and she did not pay us a dime.
Yeah. My mom was like, don't you dare quit your job to do this. And so I was like, hey, let's go to do it, see what happens. And bam, first job got nailed. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
my background is in television and radio. So it was kind of a reach for me, but I owned a home, so I kind of was interested in it. And she actually did some work in my house, and I'm like, we got to be really good friends. And I'm like, hey, we could do this. We could totally do this. Let's just make it happen. So
had a couple little beat up trucks and just went out there and did her thing. So
not a lot of tools at that time either. We had some
No.
hand tools, we had a couple power tools, but just not a lot.
And then what we did have got stolen out of the back of the truck at Lowe's, so we had to do that all over again. So we had some pretty bad licks in the very beginning. So, and we actually just bought a house right across the street from where we built a big deck. A city inspector here gave us a really hard time on, and eventually in the end, you know, I was like, you know what, write your ticket. I'm not putting another bolt nowhere. I'm not screwing another piece of wood anywhere. So write your ticket, be about your day. And he just come out and said, you women need to know your place in this business.
Wow.
Yes. And it was, yes, it was an eye-opening experience. I was pretty upset about that. So
Yeah. We're not sure if he still works in the code department or not. I don't know. But
yeah, but there is some great code inspectors here. I just would refuse to work in his area just because of his attitude. So, but
Wow.
That's where we are. A lot of it's self-taught. My background, I went to college for diesel technology. I love working on heavy equipment, things like that. But we're out there. We do what we do. We don't take on any jobs we can't do, and do what we do.
Man,
Yeah,
so you guys have had an uphill climb for sure.
Yes.
That's pretty amazing. So
yes and no. I mean, some of it comes actually fairly easily because we do talk to people, and we get in there and get to know people, and that's what it's about, is the people and getting to know them. That's really all it is. It's a people business. The skills, you can learn those, but you got to talk to the people.
It is rough building back up, trying to get all your tools replaced. About 6 months ago, we had some more stolen, and got a call from a detective in Texas. They busted like a big ring out there, like several semi truckloads of tools, and her tools ended up in Texas.
wow.
Yeah,
Wow,
because we put our name on everything. So he called us up and he's like, are you ladies under pressure? I said, yes. He said, well, I've got your job box radio here in Texas. I said, what? On the heck?
He kept calling me first, and I just kept saying not interested. I was really busy, and I thought it was, hey, I'm gonna sell you some insurance, da 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 da. And I just said not interested. I was like, dude, stop calling me. And so he calls her and says, hey, she keeps hanging up on me, but I'm a detective. I was like, holy crap.
Yeah,
that's really funny.
Yeah.
So you guys, it sounds like you got started with kind of handyman type stuff. And at what point did you like move into pressure washing as kind of one of your main gigs?
We did a lot of custom tile showers and things like that. And I just kind of got down in my back, had some back surgeries, and had to just like tone it down for a little bit. And so we were doing power washing also with the Handyman stuff. And so I just toned things down and was started leading toward more power washing and still do the basics for everybody. Just not so much of the heavy bending, all that stuff, because custom showers are a lot of work, and they will just like break you down. But I've had 5 back surgeries, and this will get to you. Yeah, well, I got in a car accident. I had actually an electrical guy hit me. He was overworked, fell asleep, smashed me at a red light. But they put a battery pack in my back, so I'm all set now, and control it with an iPad and go on. So
Wow.
Okay.
So you're a part robot too. That's amazing.
She's all part robot now, and that's why she can get going. But yeah, we had to tone it down because we were kind of all over the place.
Jeez,
And we've done major remodels. mostly kitchen remodels.
Done a lot of nice kitchens.
Yeah, and we really do enjoy that, but it just gets to be too much the older you get.
Yeah,
So-
and that's a common, I know, topic on the handyman journey, like in the Facebook groups is,
Yeah.
hey, I'm getting older and I'm getting really sore. Like what, any tips? So I think one takeaway from that is look at your services that you're providing, and it's probably not going to be an overnight thing, but if you start focusing and putting forward to within your marketing and communications, how you're talking to people, that, pressure washing and the importance of it, and, the exterior cleaning, driveway, sidewalk. So, it could be a transition to, maybe you won't be doing like zero hard work. I mean, everyone's got to work hard every once in a while.
Oh
right?
yeah, of course.
Oh, we're not opposed to hard work.
Yeah, but at least to make that transition to something maybe a little bit easier on the body. So I think that that's really great, a great little insight there.
Yeah.
So is that Ladies Under Pressure, was that always your guys' business name, or whenever you kind of had this focus on pressure washing, did you update your branding and marketing, or
We
is there a
did.
story there?
There is. We made a major shift and completely changed the name, the branding, the logo, the everything.
Mhm.
I don't know if that's typical for people to do. It didn't seem to hurt us as far as like the people we can serve and stuff like that. In fact, it seemed to help quite a bit. And a lot of that has to do with reviews. And let's talk about reviews for anybody listening. You got to do whatever you can to get good reviews. And that means you've got to really understand your customer and bend over backwards to see these people for the special people that they are. And I also am on the Facebook group where people post questions and all of that stuff. And I see a lot of people really not understanding that aspect of it. And they're like, well, does the customer not understand that I have to go on vacation and that I have to do that? No, they don't. They don't understand that. And so you have to really take the high road the vast majority of the time and put yourself out there and take care of your customer. Absolutely take care of your customer. They're the reason we do this. They are inviting us into their homes, their intimate spaces. We see things that their families, their doctors, their psychologists don't get to see. And that is hard for people to let you in and do that. So if they have a little bit of attitude, or if they kind of don't see you as a family member from the very get-go, you've got to understand that. You've got to make them know, love, and trust you.
Yep,
So-
that's good. I mean, we always coach people on you should treat people like you're talking to your grandmother. Like you just need to
Exactly.
care for them. When you're thinking about your grandma, right? She birthed either your mom or your dad, right? And they birthed you. Like there's a lot of respect that needs to go into that relationship. And they don't necessarily need to cater to your wishes. You need to kind of cater to their wishes. And that's really what it's all about, because without clients, we wouldn't be in business, and there would be no reason to do business without clients. So they're ultimately the most important thing. Not that we need to, get run over by people who are unruly, but we do need to, be polite, be respectful, and really make that client happy. So that's a good point.
Yeah,
And
it's
the-
gonna
and
fall within the parameters of like your business, obviously, but there's a respectful way to go about that. So as far as so when you guys made that transition to the new brand and everything, so you're saying like you guys had really great reviews and testimonials and everything already, so that made the transition like much easier?
No, I'm saying the opposite.
Well, it wasn't that bad. The thing is, if you link up, there's a thing. I'm sure it's everywhere. It was Angie's List at the time, and there was clients. Well, I can't call them out because you're a client. People you've never met, never been their property or anything, and they can give you a bad review, and you can rebut that, but it's still there, and it brings your grade down, and there's nothing you can do about that.
There is now on Google. They just added a support request. So anyone listening that has a bad review that is not relevant, if you actually did serve the customer, you could still try to get it removed, but there is a way now to get it removed through Google support system. So if that happens to you, You can report the review. Like whenever you look at the review, there's 3 little gray dots. You can report it there, but there's also, you need to go through Google support system. If you look up remove fraud Google review support or something, there's support tickets now you can have one removed. We actually just had a few clients that was able to get these reviews removed. So anyway, that was just a little segue because people happens all the time.
That is excellent, because like we're OGs, you know, at this point, because we've been around a long time. Like I said, there wasn't the kind of support. And when we first started, Angie's List was just getting popular, and we were on there, and we got so much business until they changed the game and started making contractors pay, and then it wasn't a level playing field anymore. So it just became kind of a bad situation with all of that, and you could not get things like that removed. Now,
so did you? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I don't want to forget this. On the flip side of that, if you do get a bad review, you might want to look at it and ask yourself, what did I do? And how can I fix that? Don't just, you know, say, well, they should listen to me when I tell them I'm going on vacation and all that. No, you need to really look into yourself and say, gosh, why did I get a bad review? Could it have been something I did? Because not everybody out there's out to get you, you know. A lot of people write bad reviews for a real reason.
Yeah, and if I get a bad review, I'll own it. If I slacked or something, I'll say, yeah, I was tired that day and I could have done better. But the main reason is I just couldn't do the work anymore. I just could not do it. I could not function. I couldn't get out of bed. It was tough. And so I was like, if we could just do the power washing for a while, it'd be great.
Yeah.
And I get bored with it very quickly. I say, oh, look at this deck. It needs this. It needs that. Look at this house. I could use that. And so that's what we just go in and do. And one of the great ladies we met here that's basically became family. My son worked for a junk removal company, and her ceiling had fell, and he just said, hey, my mom does this. And we went in and we took care of her the last five years of her life. And when she passed away, she left us her car, the contents of her home, and her son's a doctor in Indianapolis, and we actually still have her ashes here at our house, which is kind of bizarre, but he hasn't had time to come in and take care of that. But anyway, we meet some great people. We love what we do, and the flexibility to be able to get my nieces when I need to do for them, help my mom, things like that. It's worth it to me.
I had to take some time out to, my mom has Alzheimer's. She's still with us, but I had to take some time out and navigate that disease and all that entails. So that is the nice thing about this business, and actually kind of remaining small, because we do really good at like saving a bunch of money for the slow times, or for times we want to take off or whatever. And so I was able to do that. And it's the only job that I know of that I could do that, you know, and have that flexibility.
And then there is tons of money to be made.
Oh gosh.
And there's room out there for everybody. A lot of it, some of the guys get offended because we're women here and we're doing what we do.
It's getting better. It's getting a lot better.
We've paid cash for a home. The trucks are paid for. All equipment's paid for. We owe nothing. So we work our butts off, and we get to do whatever we want. And we get to make people happy.
Yeah, I think you guys I could tell that you guys really put a lot of love into the relationships with your clients, and being,
yes.
It is a sacred place, you know, so it's, that's apparent. So I commend you guys for that. And one little quick thing I picked up on your pressure washing point was, it's super cool that I haven't thought about this, but when you're pressure washing, you can spot the problems with their deck or their siding. And so there's probably a lot of opportunity too to kind of bundle that with like a pressure washing plus like home checkup, because you're kind of cleaning things up in a way. So,
Right.
I think that's a kind of neat little, just something to think about as far as marketing communication perspective of something that you inspect the home, you also wash it, you get it all cleaned up. So super cool.
Well, if we're there power washing or anything, and like I tell my son, if we see a problem that needs addressed, we will let them know whether they hire us to take care of it or not. They asked if we can do it, so absolutely, take care of it for you. That's cool. But if we see something, we do make sure that they are aware that it really needs addressed.
Yeah, and once we're in, or once they're in our family, whichever way you want to look at it, they call us over and over and over and over and over again. I had one of my clients text me just a little while ago, "Hey, can you slip this into your schedule?" And another, I mean, bunch of them. I have them hit my personal phone. It's me and them texting. I don't have anybody out there extra doing that kind of thing. I like it that way, but we're thinking about shifting to going bigger. I don't know.
We've been doing a lot of work for a guy from Italy. He came here. He's been here like 60 years, and he owns like 30 rental properties here. And it was so hard for him to that women don't do what we do in their world, I guess, and as he explains it. And he every time he had a problem, if I've seen him somewhere, hey, I got this, got that. And I say, hey, just give us a shot. And that's been 4 years ago, and he's never hired anyone else. And
he's been our main customer for 4 years too. We got a little spoiled.
Yeah, and he keeps us so busy. We have to slip other people in, and I mean, it's like he's just like, oh, don't go work for no one else. I'm like, yes, we have to, but. Fabulous man. He owns several businesses here, pizza places, restaurants, and he was actually he liked to always be a part of whatever was happening. He's in his 80s, and I would pack a chair in the back of my truck so he would have a place to sit, and I always bring him a snack or something because he would always get hungry and I'd have to stop, and I was never give him something to eat. But we got him figured out. We got all each other figured out, and he was on the job with us and went home that night, had a stroke. He's in the nursing home, and so we go see him every week. And we're about the only two he's not forgotten. So that's very, very dear to me.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I tell you what, it has meant the most to me having these people in my life. We treat everybody with respect, but
absolutely,
having some of these super close people, it's changed my life. It's changed everything about who I am because of them, because of the work that we do. And I find that amazing. I find it incredibly fulfilling. And watching someone with a pain point in their house, or a problem in their house, or getting stuck, as far as like getting stuck about, I can't fix all this stuff, and I've got clutter all over the place. Watching a client go from like this little tiny bud opening up to a flower is amazing. It's such an amazing feeling. So anybody listening out there who's new to this and you don't feel that yet, keep going. You will. I promise you, you will feel that. And from listening to your podcast too, and listening to all the other people, handies have big hearts. They have big hearts, man.
Yes.
They're in it for the right reason. So,
yeah. And if you're out there working on a job and you see something like a screen needs retucked or something, you don't have to charge for every little thing. Just help. We get a lot of old people. We get a lot of single mothers. If I see something simple like they need a weather stripping retucked or something, I'm not going to charge them for that. I mean, that's just who I am. If little things like that, that's how I'm going to get to that $1 million. I'll never get there. So I'm just saying, I will never get there.
I know Alan, for you guys' maintenance checkup that you guys do when there's like little things. Like I remember one time you mentioned like a sliding glass, like, closet door was off the hinge and you just kind of pop it back in and,
Yeah.
things like that. It does a lot to build rapport.
Right.
Yes.
Like, yeah, I've had people, they call me out for an estimate and yeah, they need, they're like, oh yeah, this closet door isn't working. Right. And while you're there, you're like, oh, it just needs to be popped up on the hinge or popped up on the track. And they're like super grateful. And it like took you like 5 seconds.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it's kind of those things that really establish rapport with our clients for sure.
Right.
And you literally can change their life and reframe it for them, and then they can look at things differently just from that simple little fix. Just the other day we were at a client's house, and I was going in and out of their door a lot, and it was squeaking really bad. I'm like,
Yeah.
that has got to be driving him crazy. And so I took my WD-40 and oiled the door, and I came back in, and she said, oh, I didn't hear you come back in. I said, oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't say a word. just fix the door.
Yep.
Yeah, they live in the historic district downtown, and it's so beautiful down there. And one of the door inserts, the whole hinge setup, the knob, all that, took it out. It was broken, and searched antique shops for it. Couldn't order a new one. None of it matched up. So finally, after about 3 weeks, found one in a garage at Giovanni's house, the guy who owns the rental properties. Found it there and popped it in there. Had to do a little bit of adjusting, but it works just fine.
That's the above and beyond things that I hope people can see to do, because it didn't really take anything extra for us to sort of look when we were looking around for the little extra part.
It is next.
We did charge for the work, of course, but
and it is next door to Goodwill. We always pop in Goodwill. So antique shops are, but just love what you do. Treat the people good, and just do people right, and be in it with your heart, and things will always happen nicely.
Man, that's beautiful. So how do you guys market your business? Like, how do you get clients?
well, in the very beginning, when we first started, I printed up a bunch of flyers and walked neighborhoods. And I hear a lot of the handies asking about that too. What's the best way to, when you're first starting out? Walk flyers. You still got to hit the pavement and walk the flyers. It's still one of the very best ways. We don't do that anymore. Right now, I've had a lot of success with Nextdoor and with Thumbtack. Gotten some really great clients through Thumbtack, and they're not very expensive. I've spent over the last month maybe $150, and I've gotten like 16 new clients from that. And they're all right in my demographic. They're right there. It's just been a really nice match for me. I hear a lot of people talking about both of those two platforms, and they say, oh, well, you only get, this kind of person or that kind of person. But I've gotten really a lot of good success out of that. My website SEO is starting to really pick up. So that's why we're trying to decide, do we want to start branching to the bigger, probably, because we're getting so many people. I'm starting to go that direction.
And we're booked about 2 months out right now.
Yeah.
Wow.
At least,
Wow.
yeah.
So can we go back to when you were doing the flyers? Because I think some of the guys would be interested in that. Like, when you first started up, how did that go? Like, did you just put them on the front doors? Did you ring the doorbells? Did you talk to people? Like, what was that like? And how many would you say you put out? Like,
oh my God, we put out thousands. Well, we would take like 100.
Yeah, we'd take 100 at a time and walk a neighborhood. We kind of know Lexington really well, so we would pick a neighborhood in the Hamburg area, or a Hamburg in Meadowthorpe or Charlesburg or wherever, and walk that out. And she'd be on one side of the street, I'd be on the other. And we would do not put it in people's mailboxes.
You're not allowed to do that.
Don't do that. You will get in big trouble.
Yeah.
But you can put them in their screen door, someplace where they're going to be able to see it. You put it up under the mailbox where their newspaper is, if they still get newspapers. That was 15, 16 years ago.
Yeah.
So.
I would say a lot of the neighborhoods that you would think you would gain a lot of business out of. A lot of times I would go in before I would go to school and just hit a neighborhood and not get one call from that neighborhood.
Yeah.
And then you go in like a lower class neighborhood, and out of 50 flyers, you may get 10 calls.
Yeah.
I mean, it would just be a hit and a miss. And, like the Childsburg area, you go up there and every $500,000-$600,000 home, you see the side of it's green. You're like, oh yeah, they'll blow this up, power washing. We've probably got like 3 power washing jobs out of that place. We got a couple that's always consistent every year. Come and do my job.
Yeah, the Flyers, it reminds me, a shout out to Paul Pacheco at PJP. It was our first
PJP.
interview on the show, but
Yeah.
I'll never, like, anytime I hear people talk about Flyers, I always think of Paul, because he
Me
has,
too
like,
now.
at the time he had like 4 or 5 technicians. They're all working, doing dryer vent cleaning, everything. And then I see him on Facebook driving around with Flyers. Like, he's always marketing. And
Yeah.
even though he's booked out or super busy, he's always marketing and always handing out flyers, driving with his dog. And so anyway, shout out to Paul. He does really well at, even when times are busy, like the walking around and handing out flyers and dropping them off at doors in neighborhoods that your ideal clients would be there, around other clients. It's kind of tried and true.
It
Yeah.
is. It's
Well,
absolutely. And
Yeah.
always keep a stack of business cards in your pocket, not in your truck,
In your
not in
pocket.
your purse, in your pocket, so that when you're talking to people, because this naturally happens, you'll be talking to the cashier at the grocery store, and he or she'll be like, you're just chit chatting, and then something comes up, and you're like, oh, well, here's my card. I can't tell you the number of clients we've gotten like that. And so always have business cards on you. They're cheap, they're easy to make. Have your business cards on you. Put your business cards and or flyers up in the grocery store bulletin boards.
Yeah.
Up in the Whole Foods bulletin boards. People a lot of businesses allow you to put
Yeah.
your business cards or your flyers up. Gotten tons of clients that way.
Habitat for Humanity, put them there. Another thing too, you want to always present yourself as if you have a client watching you, like a potential client is watching you. A friend of mine that owns a painter's place here, Antoine Adams Painting, he's pretty big. He does a lot of historic stuff. And I was sitting at a red light and watched one of his guys in his company van flipping people off at the red light. And I was
Wow.
like, hey, you need to put your guy in check,
Yeah, and Antoine was like, oh my gosh, yeah, I'll make sure my guy doesn't do that.
Yeah.
Because he's real cool. He's,
Yeah, and he does a lot of big high powered jobs around here, and in the historic district, and you just can't have people out there running around do that. And we did get also a lot of business as we took a piece of all thread and ran it through a pink hard hat and mounted it to the top of our old van that we had when we first started. And then I was taking down a chimney off of this addition we were doing, and I seen a trailer over into the woods, ended up buying it off of this guy. We grinded it down, sanded it down, painted it pink, just drove it around town. Saw your pink
Nice.
trailer.
that got a lot. of
We
attention.
got a ton of
Yeah.
work for that. So
Yep.
yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. On that note, with act as if someone's watching you. When you're in a client's house, when you're in and around the neighborhood, in their yards, whatever, assume you're on camera with everything you say and do.
Yes.
Yeah.
These days, you probably are. So don't walk out of the house, like talking bad about your client, talking bad about other contractors and stuff like that, because you're likely to be heard.
Now we have subcontracted out some windows in the very beginning, and I don't have a problem rolling up and sending some guys home because I've done it. When I roll up and you've got your shirt off, there's cigarette butts in the yard, you're going behind the shed thinking you can take a leak there, things like that. When there's a marathon within seeing distance, I will send you home really quickly. And we've had to do that. And they don't think that, oh, they're women, they're not going to do anything. And so until your name is on the top of that check that pays you, I will tell you what to do. So you will not be disrespectful. And that is total disrespect. You do not take your shirt off on a job site. it just blew my mind. I had to throw that out there because I see that every day here. Nobody wants to see that. Keep your clothes on. You're at a person's home you're doing work for. Keep your clothes on. Just throwing that out.
I imagine that over the 16 years, you guys have taught a lot of lessons on judging people by their character and their work and their actions.
Absolutely. And you run across, we did have a guy, we went into his house and he wanted us to do painting in his basement, but he said, I have to lock you down there. And I'm like, whoa, we're not even going down here to look at this. And he said, I said, why? What are you talking about? He said, because of the fumes. I said, oh no, we can't help you today. And he said, we got to lock you down there. I'm like, are you crazy? No way.
It's hard for us to know if it's really all that different for men and women, because there's not a lot of women in the business. But listening to a lot of these men talk on your podcast has made me realize that there's a lot of similarities and there really isn't a difference. I mean, the work is the work, you know. The biggest difference would probably be in strength, you know. A man's strength is typically stronger than a woman as far as physical ability.
We've had a couple wives to get jealous.
Oh yeah,
that has happened. And that was, I mean, the work was completed, did a custom shower for these. I think he kind of egged it on a little bit. But it was seriously nothing. I was outside cutting some tile. Then I look up and she's peeping at me through a pine tree. I'm like, what is happening? And then she gets on to him for sitting out there talking to me. So you have to just judge people as they are. I mean, we've had wives get jealous of us, and we've had not what we're there for.
We've had girlfriends of girlfriends get jealous. We've had boyfriends of boyfriends get jealous.
It's really weird.
It's a people thing, I guess. Maybe it's attention. I don't know.
I don't know either.
We never hit on anybody. I swear we don't.
No,
there's a lot of stigma, you know, you know, men versus women and like the old time roles and stuff like that.
Yes,
but
indeed,
I think it's good that you guys are doing what you're doing. I think it definitely shows that there's not a whole lot of difference out there.
There is,
you know? And really, we need to be a lot more open than kind of what we have been in the past. So
absolutely,
we do and have had, though, I think probably more of a close ratio as far as like the number of people that we are able to get. I think ours is probably a little bit higher. And the trust factor seems to be somewhat higher too, as far as like trusting, like these single women in particular, trusting someone in their home. And we've had them tell us that, you know, I'm so glad you're women. You know, I don't trust men in my home.
We've gotten people's kids off the bus before. Probably the one thing that sticks out of my mind the most, we were doing taking out a cast iron tub, putting a new tub in, doing a bunch of tile in this bathroom. And this lady had left her newborn baby with her mother, and her mother was too old to take care of the baby. So we ended up taking care of this baby until she came home like at 8:30 in the night. And, and we had a good conversation with her and say, hey, look, we noticed this about your mom. She can't take care of this baby. So you might want to find a different deal, you know? I don't know. I'm sure a man would have picked up on that as well. Maybe not.
There's no way we can know if a man would have picked up on that or not.
I'm like, no one's getting that baby. What's the deal? And you know, you've got to cut some tile, change the diaper, make a bottle. It was nuts. But I'm a mother. You look for those things, and I'm sure fathers.
There's no arguing like the biology difference between male and female, and it's really interesting to hear you guys' stories and see like where the female instincts, motherly instincts, can kind of shine out in your handy woman business.
Yes.
That it's just really interesting and really cool to hear that you don't hold that back, and you guys are just who you are, just like how any handyman too, they're just who they are. And
yes, absolutely.
But certainly, sitting with a baby till 8:30 p.m. would most guys probably recognize, who knows, but a mother's instincts, it's like 100% of the time they're going to stay there.
Yeah. There was no way. He was only like 2 weeks old.
Yeah, he was like
teeny weeny baby. And she was obviously suffering from early onset Alzheimer's or something. And she just couldn't hear him crying upstairs and stuff like that. So we're just like, hey, we'll chill with you, whatever. Yeah.
This was long enough ago too that dementia, Alzheimer's, and the whole shebang there wasn't as well known and well understood. I mean,
Right.
this was what, maybe 12, 13 years ago. So
And
it's different times now.
And here's something we've done also, like say for instance, like where her mom is, go out there and donate a small paint job, paint a room or something. You usually see like some kind of fundraisers going around. You could throw in like a room redo or something, and that always leads to extra work. We did that for was something down here at Rupp Arena for AIDS research, I believe it was through the AVOL thing.
AVOL, yeah.
We donated a bunch of work through that, and met some cool people. But just go throw it out there. I mean, you don't always have to get paid for every little thing.
Yeah, I mean, if you donate work or whatever,
It comes back
9 times out of 10 it'll come back big for you. Big. Like Habitat for Humanity, that's another good one. To get your exposure, to get your name out there.
And you have the tool, you have the tools, you have the skills. Go out there, work for those people one day, because it's going to be a home for a family.
Mhm.
And because those homes go to families, and just go out. You don't gotta kill yourself, just go out there and throw up a wall or two. So
That's good.
Awesome. So moving on, kind of more operation of your business. I know time is flying here.
I know, I told you.
How do you guys, if you could kind of explain your estimating process and also your guys' like pricing, like how do you estimate and then price jobs for your clients?
All right, well, I've got a perfect example. We typically still go out in person. One or both of us will go out in person, and here's why. Estimating has gotten a lot easier with like Google Maps and the PVAs. You can definitely research your customer before you get there. In fact, I highly recommend it. Find out as much about your customer as they know about you. Look them up on Facebook, do all the things that they're doing for you. But we like to go out in person. I had a lady, she's an older client. I mean, older as in I've had her before. She called me up and she said, I really need just a little bit of my patio pressure washed. The birds have pooped on it, and it's this spot and this spot. If I send you a couple of pictures, can you give me an estimate? And I said, sure. And she did. And so I gave her an estimate, and it was reasonable for what the amount of work was. Well, I sent her son, our tech, out to do the pressure washing job. My fault. I didn't explain to him exactly what needed done, but he likes to do a really good job, and he's a very thorough person. That's why we like him working for us. And he went out there and washed like the whole side of her house and the patio and all this stuff that was way more than I would have charged. I mean, even 16 years into it, you can still make mistakes like that. And
go out there and meet the person.
Go out there, even though I've been to her house before, and she told me it was just a little part where the birds pooped. But it ended up being a whole lot more, and she didn't stop him, So
you can't charge more. You can't say,
yeah, you don't want to charge more. It's my fault. This is my fault.
Should have went out there in person, took a look at it. So be as I'm sure that you could hire someone to go estimate jobs or whatever, but we're small, so we go do it ourselves. And if it's something that's happening behind a wall or something, we do let them know if we run into an issue. Hey, this is what it is to do this job. But if there's something else going on, we stop immediately and bring them in, explain it to them. This is going to be your difference in your price. Always do a change order form. It gets messy if you don't. Do a change order no matter what.
I know the feeling.
You guys prefer a very thorough estimate process then?
Typically, yeah, because I like to see what I'm getting into, because even if the client takes pictures of what they've got going on and everything, the client doesn't know what they're looking for. They don't know what the pitfalls are going to be. They don't.
You don't know if if in a picture, you're not going to be able to tell if all the grout's going to blow out or whatever concrete's going on is going to break and bust and go on. I like to go see it for myself.
Yeah, I do too. And eventually we might put an estimator on it. But I don't know.
And you got like a kind of set deal if it's lights or outlets, ceiling fans.
Yeah. Those are set, you know.
Yeah, if you build a 10 by 20 deck, something like that, it's kind of set depending on how high up it's off the ground and all that stuff.
In other words, we don't charge hourly, never have,
Probably never
will, because there's just a perception of an hourly rate that just it lowers your grade, so to speak, in people's minds. You know what you need to make an hour, but you don't need to necessarily advertise that.
Yeah, it's like they just like watch you. Oh, you're taking off a long time. Get that screwdriver out of your truck. What's happening? So, I mean, you just we just don't
The
do
client
hours.
looks at the clock rather than the quality.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. So how do you guys figure out how to charge for things? I mean, say something looks like it's going to take you an hour. How do you know what to charge for that?
I just look at it and say, hey, how much work is it going to be to me to do this job, basically.
We've been doing it long enough that we can pretty much size up how many hours it's going to take. And, we can do like a quarter of a day type of thing, a half a day, a full day. I've heard other handies say that too. And it's a really good way. And we've started adopting that more through this podcast. I really like that.
Well, and also if I have a set rate, if I, say if I'm going to paint a painter stainer deck for say $2,000 and I go out here and someone really needs it, and I know they can't pay that, they may be able to pay $1,800. Then I'm going to adjust things so they can keep their deck and not have to rebuild the thing in a couple years or whatever. So that's why we like to go see it, meet the people, see kind of how their life is. You can tell.
So you guys have been using a quarter day, half day, full day to for most jobs then?
She's adopted that lately.
I've adopted it lately. We haven't always done it that way, but I
the podcast has changed her life. I'm sorry, I haven't listened. She's like, listen to this podcast.
I made her listen to one yesterday, and she's like, okay.
I get so super focused on work. I just say I don't hear it.
No, I forget which one said that, but I really liked that concept a lot. So I have been sort of trying to incorporate that a little bit. With what we've been doing with the one particular client for so long, we sort of have a different scale with them because
much work.
They have given us so much work. I mean, to the point where we can't do anything else. So much work, enough to support us to a couple $100,000 a year type of work.
Yeah.
So
we do all their maintenance and all the rental properties. Anything breaks, we fix it. And they would be like a set flat rate when people move out. This is what the paint job will cost to go in, get it in, get out. So,
okay.
But I mean, they throw us. We get everything. The building of the fences, the decks, the paints, all of it.
Yeah, having one relationship like that with a big property manager or someone who owns a lot of rentals, that can really be a game changer for the business. And it's something that I know me and Alan always advocate for, reaching out and trying to build those relationships, because once you have it, it can be a lot of work, and a lot of it's really predictable as far as, regular maintenance items.
You do get lazy in your marketing though. And so if you do plan to grow and you do want to take it to, whatever the next level is for you, you kind of want to keep some people in your pipeline so that you have a little bit more to fall back on.
Yeah,
another thing too, there's here, I'm sure it is everywhere else as well. They have a thing called the Landlords Association, and they meet here every first Tuesday of the month. If you can go in and meet a lot of the landlords and the people who owns a lot of these buildings and complexes, you'll get wrapped up in work.
Yep. Go in there and hand out your business card, and stand up in front of them and give a little blurb of what you do and who you are. A lot of people are really shy about doing that kind of thing. Get over it.
Giovanni took me to a few of those. Usually go to Golden Corral or some Chinese restaurant, and they all get together. Be about 100 people there, and so a lot of bring a pocket full of cards and you're gonna get some business.
Yep,
That's
definitely.
awesome. So what would you guys say are, like, you're 16 years in, what are your goals? Like, where do you see this business being in 16 more years? Because you've talked a little bit about, like, on the teeter of, like, should we grow? Should we not? Should
Yeah.
we, should we hire people? What are your guys' thoughts, and, like, what are your ultimate goals?
That's an excellent question. I'm glad you asked it, Alan. I see myself in the coaching position, and one of the things I've been thinking about lately, because our ICA are typically women, single between age, not necessarily single, but women between the ages of 40 and 85. And we just had that one was 95 the other day. And some of the women want to do the work themselves, but they're super afraid to ask a man. They're really glad when they meet us. They want us to teach them. So I've been thinking either and going that route, and I would like to coach other handies. Okay. That's one direction we see it going. The other direction is to hire out, bigger teams, get some more trucks, and
Let my son kind of
let her son be a team leader and go from there and grow in that direction.
I don't see myself doing coaching really.
No,
I am a hands-on. I have to be in there. I don't take my truck to any garage. I change my own oil, change my own brakes. I am in there. I want to be a part of it. And
what's your degree in?
Diesel technology.
Her degree's in diesel technology. So she does all that stuff herself, and she,
love it.
Love it.
Yeah.
She's in it hands-on every day. So I don't know. We're sort of in that phase right now. I don't know. I love social media, and I love being part of social media. So I want to work with that as well.
Yeah, I like being out there getting it done. So we'll see where it goes. My son was kind of stuck. He's stuck. He was stuck on fishing for a long time. So now he's kind of where he needs to be, and trying to leading him in that direction, teaching him a lot of things. He laid his first laminate floor the other day and did a really good job.
Nice.
And it felt good for me not to have to lay it. And just hey, you go do the flooring and I'll go on about something else. And right now we picked up a few mow jobs because older clients needed someone to cut their grass. So got that, bought a mower. He's out mowing yards today. It's just, I don't know. It seems like older people attract to me.
Yeah, they do. It's big time her. Plus, it's nice to it is nice to give him direction, and it's nice to have somebody on our team that we can trust.
And let me elaborate on that. We had someone that worked for us that was an amazing painter, worker. We went and picked her up every day, worked for us for about 3 or 4 years.
Another female with us.
Great girl. She went into a state trooper's house and stole from him.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
And, and that broke a lot of trust. And so immediately you're done.
Oh yeah. She's done that moment.
You are done. And, so when I bring someone in, I kind of have that trust issue with them. I kind of watch them. Are they going to take something? Are they going to do something? Because he could have very well posted on our website, hey, they came in my house and stole something. And that will destroy you. So he knew who was in his home, and he knew where she was, and he knew what was taken, and she did what she did. So
you don't want to steal from anybody, but I feel like a state trooper is certainly someone you don't want to be stealing from. I'd choose someone else if you're gonna do it.
That's what I said. And it was medication that she stole too. Yeah. It wasn't like he was a hammer.
He was a cancer patient. Yeah. And it just kept getting worse for her, and I would say I was extremely upset with her over that, and it was probably good that it may have came to blows. I will honestly say that it may have had it, because I was so angry because we worked so hard to build this and to help you, because your husband didn't work, so we helped you, worked you every day, picked you up, gave you a ride to and from work, and you come in and you do something that's stupid. Yeah. So
well,
I was very upset about that.
Something that comes to mind, what you mentioned, like teaching and growing, which one do we do? But any business that grows, like teaching is part of it, because you're teaching
Yeah,
the team and you're
exactly.
helping people grow. There's a lot of quotes out there about, leadership is just about growing everyone around you. So there's a
Yeah.
lot of like synergy between, those two kind of passions of, working in the business and growing it and then teaching people. So I think that there's just a lot of opportunity there for you guys.
Yes,
I agree.
yes.
And I love it. I have one girl I coach right now. She's not in the handy business, but I do coach her as far as like she's trying to get a business up and running, and I coach her, and she's so thankful and so grateful, and I've watched her blossom, and it's amazing. It's an amazing feeling to get that synergy. Anybody new out there to listening, there is more work to do than can ever be done by all of us put together. Don't compete with your other handies. Don't compete with the other people in your town. Work together.
Yeah, we've had people just take our signs down.
Yeah.
They take them down, throw them away.
Yeah, we put up some bandit signs just recently, new bandit signs, and
We can't power wash all the greenhouses, just so you know.
yeah, we
There's
can't do
plenty
it
of
ourselves. There's plenty, but they took down our sign.
They just throw them away. All of them's gone except one.
Broke my
Oh
heart.
well.
Oh,
What are you
well.
gonna do?
That's okay. We haven't found success with bandit signs personally. I don't know. A lot of people do say they're great. I don't know. I don't like them.
Awesome. Well, so I got one more question for you guys.
Okay.
So how would you define success for your particular business, your guys' particular life? There's a lot of people who be like, oh, once I, make $1 million, I'll be successful, or, whatever it is. What's your guys' definition? And do you feel like you've reached that point in your life yet? Or is it something you're still aiming for?
Oh gosh, I feel successful every morning getting up to go do this. I really do. Now I haven't always felt that way. Because there've been some hard years. There've been a lot of hard things that I've gone through, but I think just the mind shift that I personally have gotten to, where I realize that there is an abundance out there, when I realize that the synergy of going back and forth and helping each other is really where it is. That's really what makes you successful. That's success for me. And I know that I'm in the right place because I enjoy going and meeting these people. I met a new client yesterday. She was delightful, and she rescues kitties, and she wants her patio pressure washed and everything. I really enjoy meeting the people. That feels fulfilling and successful to me. And of course, our long-term clients that we've had, our older folks that we've had, and of course our lady who passed away, they've changed my life, and they've made everything come full circle for me, and I feel like that's success. Yeah. Is money part of the success? Well, yeah,
Absolutely.
and we do make a lot of money, and we've obviously made enough to support ourselves and pay cash for a house and pay cash for vehicles and stuff like that. So that's a big portion of it too. So don't get me wrong, there's plenty of money out there, and that is part of my success too.
Well,
I live comfortably. I do what I want to do.
Yeah, I think we've are very successful going from where we started to where we are now.
Yeah, even if we never did grow any bigger, but I would like to pivot just a little bit. Maybe not grow so much, but pivot.
We had a S10 truck and an old beat up van when we first started,
and a couple of hammers.
Yeah, when we first started, and then we got some new Silverados sitting out here, and they're paid for. We got 5 trailers, plenty of tools to do anything that we want to do to a home. So.
But you led with the relational side of the success, but I think the two probably go hand in hand with treating
They
people
do.
right, like you said.
Led with the relations, because that's where it's at.
Yep. Just treat people right and you'll be successful. Do the right thing.
Stay
Man.
productive and the money will come.
Yeah.
If you build
those are some great nuggets right there.
Yes.
Man. I feel like we're getting educated by just some loving mothers. Like, this is awesome. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, this is what you need to do, Sonny.
Exactly. I'm sorry, that's the way it comes out. I have a very lovely 34-year-old son. Is he 34? Yeah, 34-year-old son, and he has 2 children, and so something's going on there. Something's going right.
That's awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. We're gonna be wrapping up here. Thank you guys for being on this podcast. This has been fantastic. there's so much that we didn't get into
I know.
with you guys. So we definitely got to have you guys back.
Absolutely.
In fact, let's ask the audience. Audience, if you guys want to have Ladies Under Pressure back, leave us a comment, like blow it up so that
Yes.
we can get them back on here. It's going to be fantastic. So just want to say thank you guys for being here again. Jason, thank you so much for being a co-host with me. If you guys want to get in touch with Jason, check him out over at handymanmarketingpros.com. He's fantastic at all things marketing. If you want to reach out to me, check me out at handymanjourney.com. I would absolutely love to talk with you. You can schedule a time to talk with both Jason and I at our respective websites. We are an open book. We would absolutely love to help. And I'm sure you can reach out to Layne and Lisa as well if you have any questions. Thank you guys so much for listening.
Yes.
Whatever platform you're listening on, like this video or like the audio, and also leave us a comment. Thank you guys so much, and hope
Thank
you
you
guys
for
have
all
a
you do.
fantastic one.